many Easter stories we went through. John was there with Mary and the other Mary. So he took it. He took the pressure for all of his disciples. He had one there with him. And then when it came the next morning, 3 days later when he rose again, he said, tell him I'm coming to talk to him.
All right.
And he went back and talked to him. And what was the first thing he asked Peter? Lovest thou me more than these? And he wasn't just talking about fish, but what he was saying, brothers and sisters, does the church love the mission more than they love the majesty?
All right, come on.
A lot of us want a position so we can have our name in lights. A lot of us want to be on the rostrum so we can be recognized. We don't care nothing about God being acknowledged. Just acknowledge me. Tell him what I did. I gave X amount of dollars. I write a big check, put my number, put my name up there. Do you love him more than that? He was a marked man. And I'll finish that little part out. He knew that they needed to have a Pentecost experience to get the power. So he had to die in advance so that the Roman government wouldn't kill them immediately, because we know that the story goes that they killed a lot of the other disciples afterwards. But look at what they did after they got the power.
Yeah, all right.
Because of one marked man.
All right.
But brothers and sisters, that mark is on this man for this house.
All right.
And it's on me for Rocky River and Pastor Evans for Rock Creek.
All right.
When the mark is on them, we should work with them.
All right.
Their job should not be having to referee between us because we got a little disposition with somebody.
All right.
We need to be able to work that out for ourselves. Somebody better hear what I'm saying. Because this takes away from the power of the institution. It takes away from the power of what God has put in place. And when you're marked, see, he's marked for that job, but we're supposed to be marked for our jobs. You can tell when a man is marked for his job or a woman is marked for their job. Because they will sacrifice their own life to make sure that the work goes on for God. Not for themselves, not for recognition, not for acknowledgement, but for themselves. Because what we're doing today is just a hairbit of what type of acknowledgement we can acknowledge a man for 17 years of his life and his family, him having to be at church meetings and church conferences, going to conferences around the United States, being away from his family, his kids having to see daddy go to church, and they want daddy to go play basketball, but he's got to go to a church meeting, he got to go to the usher meeting, then he got to go referee at somebody's house because somebody's husband and wife done fell out.
All right.
Then come in and try to have a discussion, and half the people that ain't been to church in 100 years show up at the church meeting, want to have something to say.
All right.
And what needs, I'm going to tell you where we're going. We're going to the point where we're going back to power. Where the man of God has the power of God within him, and he teaches it to his people. And when you're around that type of energy, you ain't going to just come up in God's house any kind of way, any old time, and just say anything. This is supposed to be sacred ground. And we treat it like it's just another social club. We got to have some real power in God's house. Men of God, we got to have power. We can't be politicking ourselves. Ain't no time to politic. Everybody is our friend. Everybody is a child of God. And if you have to chastise the one that you like, that you can favor, so what? You have to chastise that one too. And if the lot comes your way and falls your way and the constructive criticism comes your way, take it. Take it like a man and a woman of God. It's time out for playing. This man is marked. Jesus was marked for what he did. And you are marked for what you're doing. If you're doing it for God, every one of us has a mark. We've all been marked by God. We're all God's beloved sons and daughters. To them that believe gave him the power to become the sons and daughters of God. What, so we can just remain plain and irrelevant? No, God has something special for us. And that mark, you can tell when the mark is really on you. When you acknowledge it. Because all of us got it on us. That's why you're alive. We ain't alive just to be here. Just to show up, I'm going to hold a place. We used to joke about it in the rap world. We call them zeros. In math, a zero is just a placeholder.
All right.
I kind of stopped picking at the zeros. If you want to be a zero, because if you get a check, you want some zeros. More than just two behind the decimal point. I want them on the other side. So if you're going to be a zero, at least get on the right side of the decimal. But it's time for us to acknowledge the mark. When you acknowledge the mark on your life, I ain't talking about the mark that traditional church put on you now. Hold on. Because there's a mark that we've been taught, I'm just a sinner, I'm a pilgrim and a stranger traveling through this old barren land. This ain't my home, but I got another home on the other side. Man's days is but a few and full of trouble. We wear that mark. I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity, head for head up. We wear that mark. But what about the mark? The same writer that wrote it, he didn't say we, he said I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Let's go back to Psalms and read it right. But the same writer also said I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So you got to take it in the context that it was written. The guy was having a bad day. He felt like he was made in sin. He was having a good day. He was made fearfully and wonderfully by God. And I like the way he said it when he said I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. He said, and my soul knoweth right so. I like when you say that my soul knoweth right so. We have to acknowledge our mark, because that mark then becomes the insignia of a call.